morning and welcome to the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. I'm Esther.
And I'm Melanie.
And today we're joined by Andrew and Pete of Atomic and talking about scaling up. Welcome, guys.
Whoop, whoop. Thank you so much for having us, guys. And thank you everyone for listening as well.
So excited. Let's do this.
So you really say that in real life?
Yes,
I mean, maybe there's a tiny bit of radio voice going on, potentially. But, yeah.
Get a sneak our catchphrase in there. So.
Love a good catchphrase. So for those that don't know Andrew and Pete, fill us in. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
Oh, okay. The whole backstory. How far back should we go?
Yesterday.
Back to birth. So
It's a short podcast, guys. Remember, it's a short podcast.
So yes, we are Andrew and Pete. We are a business partnership, and we run the membership called Atomic. Atomic is for the small and mighty business. We believe that it's actually better to be a small business. You can have more freedom. You can make more money. You can actually have fun enjoying running your business. And we believe actually being small is better. Small is mighty. And that's kind of the whole ethos around Atomic and what it's all about.
Yeah, so we're here today to help you guys listening figure out how you can be more scalable in your business and give you some tips and advice to help you get there faster, to get you happier and make more money in less time.
Okay, so how have you managed to do it yourself? I mean, how long has Andrew and Pete been in Atomic?
Oh, okay, that's a great question. So when we first started off, we started doing one-to-one services. So we started doing marketing advice and website design and things like this. And we very, very quickly got burnt out with that. And it was very limited to how much money we could make based on basically how many people we could serve. And what we discovered is that that's not what we wanted our business to be. We wanted unlimited income possibilities. So we put our heads together and we basically come up with a membership model. And the membership model is obviously scalable. So we can have one member or 100,000 members. And basically the amount of work is pretty much the same. And we also have an event. An event is very scalable. And we've also got a few other income streams like affiliates, advertising revenue, brand deals that are also scalable.
In terms of like how long it's taken us as well. So our business actually turns 10 this year. So
congrats!
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we set up right out of university in 2011. It took us definitely a good few years to kind of find our feet. We were like super green, super inexperienced, 21, in like this big business world. We really didn't know what we were doing, to be honest. Atomic was launched in 2014. Yeah, so that is 7-ish years old now.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I feel like the whole myth around becoming an overnight success is just that. Like, it's a myth. It has been a lot of hard work. It's been a lot of trial and error. It's been a lot of doing things wrong, but learning from those mistakes. I think one of probably the biggest realizations for us is that it is a journey and it is something that does take time. I think we realized at one point that we needed to stop trying to get to a place and be happy once we got to that place and just be more happy with like the journey that we were on. And yeah.
Okay, so you talked there about lessons learned. So what are some of the big major lessons that you have learned along the way?
Oh my God.
Okay, this is good. So basically, I think some of the biggest things we've learned is that confidence is everything. So when we were doing one-to-one services, we were basically limited to how much money we could make based on our own self-confidence of how good we were and how much we were able to charge. And what we see happen a lot of the time is small business owners, they want to make more money. They get burnt out by client work and they think that they need to launch something more scalable. That's how they're going to grow the business. So they'll dive right in and they'll launch a course or a membership or something like this, or products even, or a book. And what they'll realize is that they don't have any time to promote it. They haven't had time to build up their own audience. So when they launch a course, like it doesn't sell because they've got no time and they've not had time to build up an audience, which you could easily sell a course to if you had a bigger audience. And I think the important thing to realize is that launching a course, it might be the answer depending on your situation. I'd say most of the time it's not the answer straight away for most people. The answer is probably, like, if you want to make more money and work less right now, for most small business owners, like especially service-based businesses, they just need to charge more. Or outsource more. Yeah.
It's like literally, if you think about it, scaling up, like I feel like scaling is sometimes a confusing concept, or when people hear scaling, they think like an app company or a tech company or something like that. Like to us, scaling is basically earning more money without having to work more hours. That's the aim, right? We want to earn more money, but we don't want to be hustling our faces into the ground, like working every single hour of the day to make more money, right? So the question is, like, how do we do that? Like, how do we create more income in our business without having to work more? Even better, how do we do it by working less? And like that is literally one of the easiest ways to do it. Like if you raise your prices, you are literally going to be earning more money whilst doing the exact same amount of work.
For example, if you were to double your prices today, you could work half the amount and still make the same amount of money. In that time that you save back, you could then start to either chill out a bit more, or you could actually use that time to invest in growing your audience, create content, and then you can launch more scalable products with much more success.
I'm not a massive fan, to be honest, of the like double your pricing kind of advice. I feel like that when you say that to some people, they're like, oh my God, I can't do that. Like raising your prices, just to be clear, it's simple to get your head around how that can make you more money. It is not necessarily simple to do, like emotionally or mentally. Like there's a lot going on there to actually raise your price. Double your prices to some might be extremely scary, and you might just think, no way can I even do that. I think what you need to realize is that your prices should be going up, because that is the world that we live in. Like prices for literally every single product or service, mainly, go up.
Yeah.
So why do small businesses feel like they need to be charging the same that they were charging a year ago, 2 years ago, like 6 months ago? And that's when we first got started, like that is one of the first things we started doing. We adopted what we called like an always going up strategy. And every time we got someone to say yes to a price, we put the price up for the next person. And we would do a lot of logos and branding, like back in the day when we first got started. And literally our first logo was, I think, about £45 for a logo. And then we were like, okay, we've sold one for 45, right? Let's try like 55.
If we wanted to make like minimum wage, we'd have had to have made like 66 logos a week or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that wasn't going to work out. But again, it comes back to that confidence, you know? So, you know, it went from 45 to 90 to 100, and then eventually it got to like 1,000. And it just built up naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like ultimately the biggest lesson you've learned, all of this can be achieved just with confidence.
Confidence is such a massive thing that not enough people talk about. And again, it's not like, that's simple in practice, like more confidence, more money, right? But it takes work. It takes a lot of work, a lot of practice.
And it impacts on everything. So, for example, if you want to make more money, you need to sell more. If you want to grow your audience so that you can have more sales easier, quicker, you need to put yourself out there. That's scary. Selling is scary. If you want to grow your business, at some point, eventually, you will have to outsource. You'll have to lose some of that control. You'll have to give away some of those tasks. That is scary. Okay, so, and raising your prices is scary. Every single thing that's important in business is scary. And it's scary because you've never done it before. You've never had to do it before. No one's ever taught you. No one's ever shown you it. You've not watched other people do it on a day-to-day like scenario, it's something you are on your journey with by yourself and you've never been told how to do it. And so it's scary, it's unknown, so inherently scary. And this is why you need like confidence, you need support, you need team morale, you need inspiration, motivation, like constantly.
Accountability.
Yes. 100%.
Accountability. See,
Yes,
a lot of the
all these
businesses
things.
we work with, you as well, I would imagine, are sole traders.
Mhm.
So the accountability is the one thing that they're missing.
It is absolutely true.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, in our membership, we actually run what we call Raise the Stakes sprints, or sprints for short. And essentially, we get people to tell us what they're putting off. And then we make a wager with those people to do the thing that they're putting off within a 2-week period. And so they literally put money in and say, I'm going to do these tasks to achieve this thing that I'm putting off. And it works. With the hundreds and hundreds of people that have done it, we've never had anyone fail because, the accountability works, especially if there's a fear of losing some
I
money.
feel like that is the
Yeah.
key, right? If you want accountability to work, and if you want the confidence to do stuff, you need to make the fear of not doing that thing worse than the fear of actually doing it in the first place.
Agreed.
And that's what actually putting money down does. That's what working with maybe a coach does, where you're like telling somebody. Public accountability is often a great way to get it. Yeah, it's like fear. It's like fear of losing out. It's that fear of like being publicly shamed if you don't do something you're gonna do. It's that fear of like letting someone down.
Yeah. And I think when people are alone in the business, you run this cycle, and you might have these clients, and you're busy, and you've got no time to like work on the business. You're just kind of working in the business, doing client work, and then when it comes to that point where you've got a few hours to like work on the business, and you should be like building a sales funnel or creating content or being proactive with sales, you should be doing those things. But if there's no accountability, then again, it's like, hey, you know what? If I don't reach out and do a sale right now, what's going to happen tomorrow? Nothing. It'll be fine. It's going to be okay. And if people are comfortable like that, like it's not good to always be comfortable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, it's a fine balance between being happy and content with where you're at and where you're going, but also not being happy with being comfortable necessarily, because it doesn't push you to grow faster, especially if that's what you want to do at this point in your journey. And most of the people we talk to want to grow faster.
I've got a question. There is obviously the two of you, just like there is the two of us. So who would be the pushier one?
I feel like we both push each other in different ways.
I feel like we don't want to let each other down.
Yeah.
That's very important. So if one person is assigned a task, we will do the task because we don't want to let the other person down, because the other person will have done the task that they were meant to do.
I feel like there's definitely been a lot of working out what each of those personalities are and playing to those strengths.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm probably the more impatient one.
I'm definitely the more like, let's think about this. Is this the right decision? Let's, maybe even procrastinate on this a little while.
And I'm like, we could have done this already, but we could talk about this some more if you want, Pete.
So who would you be, Esther? Would you be Pete or would you be Andrew? I know which one you'd be. Who would you be, more patient or would you be more impatient?
Or more Andrew.
I'll leave that to you to decide.
Pete. I'm
I
Andrew.
really am.
Yeah. Oh, no question. No question.
So scaling up, is it possible for every business to scale up, whether they've got, their arts and crafts business from their home, or they've got a shop already, selling some products? Is it possible for every single business to scale up?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
So if we're looking at scaling up as, like I said before, if we took the definition of not working more, but making more money, then yes, it's definitely possible for every business to scale up. First way is what we've talked about already. So that is raising your prices. Like, we 100% get that there are some businesses where there will be a cap on raising your prices, and it's not like you can charge millions and millions of millions. But there's other ways to do it. So like the second way is by realizing that you don't have to do all the work yourself and building an outsourced team that can do some of the work for you. And again, this comes down to confidence as well. So it's like, we'll say that, and some people will be like, yes, great. Like, how do I do this? Some people will be like, oh my God, no, I'm the only one that can do this in my business. And like, we have not met a business where that is actually true, because there are so many ways that you can process and automate all the different parts of your business that it takes to run.
Yes, and the third way to scale is to launch some kind of scalable offering. So that is a event, it's a membership, it's a course, it's affiliate income, it's subscription boxes, subscription packages. I can't think of anything else, but yeah, things like that.
That was quite enough.
Okay. Thanks, Melanie.
Like, calm down, Pete.
She's like, get on with it.
She's frantically writing a list. That's where I'm getting worried. She's writing the list, and then she'll turn around and say, you need to do this, you need to do that.
So basically, any business can do one of those three things. Mm-hmm. And with the raising the price thing as well, I think some people complain at us when we say that, and it's like, oh, I can't raise my prices. No one will possibly pay me more for that. People probably will. Mm-hmm. And also, if not, like, is it worth doing something else? Is it worth coming up with a different offering which holds more value? Mm-hmm. And, don't limit yourself to what you've already got. One of the biggest keys to success for any business is, like, is your product or service, like, amazing? Like, does it actually hold a real value? Does it solve a real deep problem? And you know what? Like, sometimes business owners got to question whether they are achieving that or not. So lots to think about that.
I didn't realise you could be so profound.
If you let me get onto it.
But I think, like, going back to one of the hiring other people or outsourcing or collaborating or building the team around you, it's one of the things that you definitely need to look at, I think, in every business, because and the last year and a half and plus has taught us this as well. If you're sick or if you're not available, if you can't go and do it, then who else can you call on to do it? So if you're just holding on to the reins, saying, no, this is my baby, this is my business, nobody else can do it, then you're going to miss out when I'm not even going to say if, but when things like that happen, when life happens, yes, and you're not able to go and do it, then it could be worse than actually inviting other people into your business and sharing the joy.
Yeah, and the great thing about building an outsourced team, which aren't necessarily employees, but they're like virtual freelancers, is that you can get specialists for specific roles. So you're not having to find somebody that can do a bunch of roles and be an employee on your business. You're just finding someone to do a very specific task that might take you a lot of time to do. Maybe you don't enjoy doing it. Or maybe if you can do it better, you can charge more for it. And like, I think it's quite egotistical to think that you are the only person and you are the best person for that job compared to like a specialist who only does that. Yeah. And I think that was a lesson that we learned. We thought like we're the only ones that can like write copy like in our voice. We're the only ones that can edit videos like we do. We're the only ones that can like keep track of all the different moving parts in Atomic. And as soon as we started working with specialists, we were like, oh my God, no, that video editor is way better than us. Like that organizer is way better at like planning the calendar for Atomic coming up and making sure everything's happening than us. Like, why were we doing this by ourselves?
I've got to agree. I took part in your event a couple of months ago, and you encouraged me to finally hand over the reins administratively to a VA, and it was the best decision I have made for my business.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Absolutely
Yeah.
the best decision, because now I'm doing the stuff I'm more profitable at, I enjoy more, and it saved me so much time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't think people understand, like, just the at a very, very basic level. Like, for example, we were spending like 2 to 4 hours a week editing our videos
Wow.
because it takes us ages. We're not like experts at it. We haven't got the best software in the world. So creating videos for our weekly YouTube show was taking us ages. Like I said, 2 to 4 hours. The moment we outsource that to a professional, not only do we get a better retention and a better video, so we make more money and attract better people, we also save ourselves 4 hours a week.
Yeah.
Let's say 3 hours a week. And in that 3 hours, we can charge like 5-10 times more than what we pay in the editor. So, like, we've just literally made X amount of money immediately, or saved a bunch of time.
Do you know what people do though?
Yeah.
People do it wrong because they outsource stuff that doesn't make them money, and like what they do instead, and this is why people get burnt with outsourcing, is they outsource the stuff they feel like they need to be doing, rather than the stuff that like currently works for them. Like, for example, we were speaking to a member, and she said, "I really need to outsource my social media. I absolutely hate Twitter. I'm just going to outsource that." And we were like, "Hang on, hold up. Like, when was the last time you got business from Twitter?" And she was like, "I've never got business from Twitter. I absolutely hate doing it. All my business comes from Instagram. That's why I want to outsource Twitter." And I can see why that person thought that, but that just does not make sense. It's like, that is not the answer. The answer is stop doing Twitter. It's not working for you. Get someone to help you do what you're doing on Instagram, but like 10 times better. If Instagram's working, like, invest in doing more of what you're currently doing. Yeah,
I've taken a plumber's company off. There's a plumber's company about 4 or 5 years ago. It was doing 5 or 6 different social media platforms, and they were doing them all appallingly. And really, they were only getting revenue from Facebook at that time. And since then, they've made Google My Business one of the busiest platforms for being found. And that was because I introduced them to Google My Business. And it's crazy. Some people are just overworking on the areas that they don't need to do because they feel they should be doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, we are not pro you have to be everywhere.
Yeah.
This
Although you
phrase
are.
Well, it's funny. Like, if you check out our Facebook page, our Pinterest, there isn't much going on there, let's be honest. Or our LinkedIn even. It's just like not where we enjoy being.
Yeah.
And I feel like people do feel like we are everywhere, but we're really not. It's like we're very focused on the platforms we enjoy being on. And we create good content for those platforms so people see it. Where if you're just creating average content for everywhere, it's, even though you technically are everywhere, no one's going to see that content and no one's going to feel like you are everywhere.
Yeah, average content or even good content doesn't cut it on social media.
No.
It's not good enough. The algorithms just put it down because there's so much better content out there. And which is the sad truth of social media.
Yeah, exactly. And it's ever changing. So, you know, there's that as well. Guys, it's been great having you on. Where can we find you? What have you got coming up?
And we also want to hear about the success predictor as well.
Oh my God, we've got so much coming up. We cannot wait to hang out with you two at Atomicon, which is happening November 9th in Newcastle upon Tyne. So tickets are on sale now, guys. So if you want to come to our epic conference, it's headlined by Dragon's Den star Deborah Meaden. We have got world-class speakers from all over the world coming in. We cannot wait to get the band back together. It's been far too long.
Yes.
Go to atomicon.co.uk to grab your tickets.
It's a conference for small business owners like yourselves, so it's going to be jaw-droppingly epic. So good to see you there.
Yes. No pressure.
And if you want to get a few tips on where best to focus your time for the biggest impact right now. So, you know, I know there's 1,000 things, especially after listening to great podcasts like this one. you've often got 1,000 things that you feel you should be doing right now. And in terms of spending less effort but having more impact, we actually have a success predictor assessment. And you fill it in, it's a little quiz, and it tells you where's best to focus your efforts right now to make the most amount of money in the shortest space of time.
So you can get that on our completely free plan of Atomic. So if you go to atomic.site, you'll be able to sign up for the free plan of Atomic there and then. And that'll be one of the first things that you can do when you join.
Yeah.
Completely free.
Brilliant. Well, that has been wonderful. And thank you for all the information. Yes, we have taken notes. Yes, we will be implementing some of these things.
I already have.
We've had an absolute blast, guys. What a fun interview. Thanks so much for having us. And thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, anyone listening, if you want to reach out, ask more questions, we are always available. So,
all right, that's enough of you.
All right. Sorry, Melanie.
Oh, guys.
There's no time for an outro. There's no time.
Hey, we've started keeping bloopers. This is great.
Thanks again, guys. We'll be back next week with more Monday Morning Marketing. Until then, goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you on Tuesday.
See you on Tuesday.
The Monday show. That'd be funny.
What?
See you next Tuesday.
No.
Oh my
Not
God.
that one.
I can't believe you said that.
We were just all really confused at the end there. We were like, what's happening on Tuesday? You're going to have to leave all of this in now.
We are. We're going to leave this all in.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.